And welcome to this episode of Movies and Monies on ZTX Live, where we present insights on money and the cinematic interests of the people behind them. I'm your host, M2 Supply, and today we're joined by our guest from Biconomy. Thank you so much for joining us, Breno.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me, M2.
Yeah. Well, first, can you tell us a little bit about your background and your current work?
Yeah, definitely. I am currently VP of Partnerships for Biconomy.com, a global centralized crypto exchange with spot trading, futures trading, and some yield earning staking solutions. But we can get more into that later on. But my background is I am Brazilian, living in Canada. I consider myself quite a geek, so I'm wondering which kind of movies we're going to discuss today. My past, always in touch with tech and innovation, but formally, I'm a specialist in international business, traveled a few countries, and I'm always happy to be in contact with all diverse culture that I can.
All right. Well, you already alluded to this, but as the name of the show suggests, we cannot really start off without talking about your favorite movie or movies. What is the greatest of all time movie for you? And if you don't have one, do you have a movie that you hate? Why or why not?
Oh, the goat. Oh, what's the goat? Hard to pick. I'll give my currently favorite, Big Short from 2015.
Ooh.
I think it's still pertinent to all the shakeups that we see around the world. I think there's a lot of learning on the intricacies of financial systems and what happened in the 2008 crisis. But like I said, favorites, I am a huge fan of Star Wars and all superhero movies, either from Marvel or DC. We can get into the weeds of any of these.
Well, actually, I actually just rewatched The Big Short myself, like maybe last week or a couple weeks ago, very recently. But I did it because, I thought maybe it would help me feel better about the current market or something. But has the Big Short, you called it like your recent favorite. Has that impacted you in terms of how you go about your daily work at Biconomy or, your professional career?
Well, I would say that the impact in my life or my view of things was prior to this, was quite right after the movie when I was premiered. And it brought me a different understanding of what I was reading in the news and how complicated it is with the whole market structure that we see. All the actors, not the screen actors, but all the market actors that are there. What's the governmental side of it? What are regulators, auditors? What's the banking system doing? How the whole world came to that position. And the way that it was explained, I feel like anybody that watches the movie can have a better understanding, even if they're completely ignorant when it comes to these financial standards. And to me, I think that was the case, like everything in life. And I feel like Web3 has a bit of that, also AI. There's a universe of knowledge. And each time that we learn something new, we notice that there's so much more to learn. So that was the case for me to notice that there are so many moving parts. They are all interconnected and it's complicated. But if we want to be able to communicate and build partnerships and analyze markets, analyze token behaviors and figure out how we improve this whole technology and the industry to reach a better user experience and actually change services for a better experience, we need to be more careful and to learn deeply everything that we know, everything that is out there to be studied, because this is very complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's like a lot of people don't know a lot of things, and I mean, eh, that whole movie, which is based on real events, it just basically goes to show how the big banks, well, were colluding for one, but also didn't know shit about a lot of things. And I think that's particularly relevant to people in crypto because it started out as a small movement. Now it's a lot larger than when it first started, but still lots of unknowns, lots of dissenting camps. So I definitely think that's a movie that a lot of people in crypto should watch and will appreciate. So thanks for bringing that up. Who was your favorite character in that movie?
Hmm. Um, it's I forgot the name of the character, but it's played by a Stephen Carell.
Ah,
I think
yeah, yeah.
that the feeling he shares, the way that that character feelings goes through the screen and gets me to the, to the edge of my seat.
Yeah,
And it's exactly how probably most of the world felt when hit somehow by whatever happened, what was happening
yeah.
during the crisis of 2008.
Oh, he was amazing, and I think that was right when he was like still, like maybe it was right after The Office, or it was like towards the end of The Office or something. But yeah, great performance from
Yeah,
Steve
I think
Carell.
he, yeah, I think he wasn't considered much of a dramatic actor at the time, more of a comedian, and
Mm,
he has a lot of depth. That was fantastic.
yeah, yeah, great stuff, great stuff. Well, okay. Thanks for sharing that. And so, as we talk about the markets, we're in the first couple of weeks. We've had a nice first week of a little bit of a pump, and then some stagnation, some dip. Now we've seen a little bit of growth in the last couple of days. But anyway, we still have like 12 months ahead of us. What is your outlook for crypto in 2026?
Well, I wish I could predict the future. That's definitely a superpower. It would be helpful. I'm always optimistic. I tend to make mistakes towards the upside because I'm always expecting things to be better. And I'm being honest with this. It's not something I need to curb this sometimes, but I do think that there's a lot of discussions. We have this conversation with many different market players. Um, I think that there's something happening with the 4 year cycle that we got used to,
Yeah.
and that might bring a good side and a bad side. Good side that it's maturing. It's a clear signal that the whole industry is maturing, and now we're more correlated to macroeconomics. And there's a lot happening in the world right now. I think that we need to be careful with, especially large players, with how we make decisions based on short term news, because the market seems to be moving slower, reacting slower to that. It's not a simple tweet that will drop 10% or bring us up 10%. And at the same time, everybody was always expecting those 10x, 20x. Depending on the asset, we might have shorter upsides, but also shorter, drawdowns. So it might be like I said, maturity, and of course, we are still going to have brand new, exciting tech like meme coins here, or a specific community, or one specific use case. More recently, we're seeing privacy coins like Zcash and Monero doing really well because of the whole adoption and the potential of AI, um, bringing new concerns about privacy, of digital behavior. So I think it's good. I'm hopeful for this year. I think we still have more um, positive indicators that can play out. Um, Unfortunately, this week I was a little too excited, thinking that we might see the Clarity Act being
Ah,
approved still this month. And if anybody's following the news out of this Thursday, it was delayed probably because they can. There are some still disagreements when it comes to the draft, but hopefully we'll see that go through this year.
yeah, that was a little bit interesting. As early as a couple weeks ago, I think the markets were, were predicting that it would go through with no problem really, and then suddenly you see Brian Armstrong criticizing it, pulling out support. You see lots of things happening over there, and now you see banks who are still pro crypto to a degree, much more than they were before. But now you see banks talking about how stable coins are going to be a net minus to the banking sector because of the yields. So we've seen a couple of unprecedented, well, maybe a little bit unexpected news arising. But yeah, I certainly hope for more clarity in the regulatory side too. Um, Yeah, I mean, so I think nobody has a crystal ball. If you do, please let me know. But so we know that it's probably going to be another choppy, bumpy roller coaster ride this year. And with regards to economy, we as we talk about trading and centralized exchanges, we can't ignore on-chain trading and all the attention that perp dexes have been getting in the last several months. um, what do you guys have, what's your outlook on perp dexes, and do you guys have any kind of position towards them? Are you guys trying to respond to them in a certain manner, or are you more just focused on doing your own thing? Are you introducing any new tools to your customer base? How's that going?
We that's a very interesting question. Let me not get ahead of myself in this one.
Yeah, sure. Take your
Uh,
time. Yeah.
but I have to first of all, congrats on the listings. I think that that's something that we should always be happy to see. The token ZTX is already in the books. The way that we look at it, I think that centralized exchanges, DEXs, different types of on-chain solutions, and even seeing more of traditional applications that are, the Robin Hoods out there, offering access to crypto is beneficial to everybody, and it always makes a larger pie. The whole industry will grow with it. I do think that it's still, I love on-chain activity. I think it's ideal to go to the core of the tech and understanding it, but it's not the ideal user experience. And there
Mm,
are types of users that will never get into that because
mm,
you have a learning curve to go through. Just like I still have, I don't know, my aunts and uncles, or the grannies and the grandpas out there, that they just say, no, it's a very small letter on my screen. I have to click too many things that I don't understand and agree and approve and sign my name, and I don't understand what's behind that. I want something simple.
yeah.
So it's centralized exchanges are here to be the welcoming first front-facing team. Now they'll say, this is your first step. We're here to take you through a safe, trip. This is what you need to do. You're required for this if you want that. You should KYC if you want to use this. You should pay attention to these limits. This is a whole blog or YouTube channel with lessons or tasks or gamified solutions that you can go through to learn, your first trade. How do you deposit? How do you withdraw? What's the risk? How do you look at risk? We do due diligence to listed tokens to be sure that we're offering interesting, but as much as possible, trustful uh, access to the system. And of course, we want to offer global access everywhere to all kinds of traders, to newbies, to pros, to people getting excited with meme coin and bringing their community. And I know that we're going to get into creator economy soon. Um, but we want to do it with the right responsibility. So we're looking into AI. We
Mm,
might be looking into some more on-chain presence. We do have an on-chain wallet that helps our users to move easily through, but at the same time, give access to advanced financial tools that some big centers, to some big centers, this might not sound like a big thing, but there are a lot of places in the world that people don't have access to any specific trading. They need to comply or to be, conform with their savings account under 1% per year, far from their inflation rates.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I actually think that, as much as, I mean, crypto Twitter likes to talk about perp dexes because they're farming the next airdrop. But I look at grandmas and grandpas on the subway on their mobile phones. They're using centralized exchange applications. They're not. I mean, never say never, but it's kind of it's many more hurdles for them to get on Jupiter and through a Phantom and whatever. So. Yeah, I think Biconomy and these centralized exchanges, they will, in fact, their pie should grow as we get to 1 billion users, 2 billion users on chain, or not on chain, but on crypto. Yeah, and ZTX, our token that is powering this current live streaming is already listed on Biconomy. We've been working with you guys for quite a while now, and our partners at Creator Chain. It is an upcoming ZK Sync Elastic chain, a layer 2 blockchain that will go live later this month. The governance token for that, which is the CRTR token, that is also going to be listed on Biconomy. You heard it here first in this live
Hey,
stream.
bro.
Um, yeah, going back to tokens. The Creator Chain, the upcoming blockchain is going to serve as a hub for literally creators, as the name suggests. We're talking about influencers, artists, celebrities, talents, IPs, all that kind of stuff. And I think you did mention meme coins a little bit just now, but with Pump Fund having led the way a couple years back, we've seen lots of different launch pads, token launch pads come and go. It still remains a widely used concept. Have an ERC20 launchpad, launch shit coins, meme coins, fan tokens, creator coins, and it works and sometimes it doesn't. Do you, from an exchange perspective, or it could just be your personal perspective, do you positively view these types of creator coins, celebrity coins, or do you not like them a little bit because many of them have rugged? What's kind of your stance here?
I don't want to be on the fence on this. There's a good and bad side for those things. I think first and foremost, creators having access to tools that enable them issue a token that then becomes access, capital access, either to, and this is historically challenging, as we know, to artists, to creators in general, to sometimes figure out or even reach a decent livelihood, because
Mm,
that's how they express themselves. But going to market or positioning themselves, it's not something that they know how to do, or even they might be blocked because of how an industry full of intermediaries might be getting in the way. So I think the existence of these tools is a much needed.
mm,
I do think that sometimes, as everything that we have out there, they might be used with malintention. And then we see some rugs that were designed to be a rug, that were designed for a few individuals that were trying to take advantage of a larger group. But in general, we also see um, people that don't know that they could bridge digitally
mm,
with their expression, either text, either design, or the video, animated, a series, whatever they call, how a lot of people communicate and create out there. I've been seeing this already involved with fashion and even traditional industries that we see, oh, this is big. There's a known pathway. You should move to this city or should reach out to this kind of agency. And then there's somebody that recorded a video and said, no, there's this cool tool here.
mm.
This is step 1, 2, 3 that you go through. And the best part of it, there are foundations. There are groups are sponsoring or paying attention to these networks. So I do think there's a lot of value. Um, with all that said, and I think that all launchpads have a reason to exist, but I confess I was very scared for that brief period of time that Pump Fund looked like the dark web.
Ah, yes.
That was something that was very dangerous. And I was happy to see that it was solved, that was addressed. I think the phase is in the past. It's a successful story now. We all know. Looking forward to see what's coming next. And we do like that because then we can see these ideas with their digital representation through a meme coin or a token or a creator coin growing, building a community, or already presenting a great market fit.
Mm.
And then we can say, okay, the case to defend the listing exists there. So let's bring this to a broader distribution platform like economy.com.
Yeah. Okay. You actually you changed my opinion. 'Cause I'm a bit more skeptical about launch pads. Maybe the creator team doesn't want me to say that, but I because like as you said, I mean, yes, I've traded in the trenches on Solana, on Base, whatever, and but like you said, pump fund, when it got so huge, we had people killing themselves and like killing animals and doing all sorts of weird shit, just to make $100,000 or $50,000 and rug everybody. And then you have like, you know, the you have Malay and all that going on. So it was not a pretty time. But I think because we went through that phase, now people are a lot more people know how to see red flags, whether it's because of liquidity size or whatever. And I think other people, maybe it's a regulating, not a regulating, maybe it's like a more stable entity like a centralized exchange that can conduct some due diligence and make sure these tokens are, not as bad as the other ones. I think we have that setting, so maybe we can be a little bit more optimistic about like the next chapter of creator coins and meme coins. I think it certainly will help bring more masses to crypto if you can play it right. If you get the right, celebrity or the IP to launch a coin, then sure, you get the followers to come on. So, all right, I have a
Yeah.
little bit more faith.
And I think there's a change in mindset also, and it's good that it's bringing this. It's not good. Nothing of the bad cases is good that it happened.
Mm,
But in hindsight, after something bad, like many examples that we have out there, has happened, that we can look back and say, okay, we need a disclaimer here.
yeah.
And a few things that I think each person should think of is understanding the differences between gambling and investing.
Mm,
Understanding if it's too good to be true, probably it's not. So, be careful with what you go. If it looks violent, close your tab.
yeah.
Don't pay attention to that. Like who was trading those tokens? I think that's also negative. Not only the content that was violent in a way. So at least we're having this discussion. We'll have disclaimers. This is a topic that we can discuss with people that never heard of it or are trying to get into these platforms for the first time.
Absolutely. I do hope that we see more uh, impactful, constructive creator coins come to the fore, because again, that is what will help new people come to crypto, for sure. All right. Well, another kind of a field, uh, that is not launchpads or creator coins, that is being spearheaded by the creator chain team, is DeSci. And I think DeSci kind of came to the fore, a couple years ago. We've had large pumps in that sector, and then last year was not so great for altcoins. So it kind of died down, but it's still relatively large. You still have like $500 million market cap on DeSci tokens. And anyway, so Creator Chain wants to be the first ZK Sync chain to officially endorse and help out these DeSci projects. The first one is about exosomes. I don't want to promote a particular ticker or token here. I'll just talk about the underlying science, just as a quick intro. So exosomes are like little particles around your cells that have nutrients, but they also have a lot of data. They have data about how your cells should interact with each other. So if you inject exosomes into your body, it's exactly like injecting massive databases into AI learning models. So that way the training models move more quickly and more accurately. And the same thing happens to your body, where your body recovery it just goes up across your entire body. So we've seen, through medical research, we've seen lots of great effects for skincare, hair loss. It regenerates your hair. This one was particularly interesting to me. It helps get rid of hangovers. It helps anybody with erectile dysfunction problems or stamina problems. It helps women for breast enlargement, but generally, it's just literally general recovery. So list goes on. Anyway, that's one example of a first DeSci project coming onto Creator Chain, and I had to get all of that out there because the EXO project team pushed me to at least make a quick intro there. But does Biconomy have any interest or any views or on the DeSci sector?
Well, first, I saw the press release on Exo Token. Kudos to everyone involved. It's very interesting. I might, do the trials for regrow half. Uh, not to speak through, well, everything that goes with Bitcoin.com, we have a big team of people looking into the details of it to be sure that it's aligned with our position, identity, so on and so forth, and that it's in compliance, at least to how we present ourselves all over the globe. Because beyond borders is quite challenging.
Mm.
But DeSci is, I think it's exciting to everybody that has any that touched blockchain in a way that looked. It's been discussed for such a long time. It brings the beauty of everything: the decentralized access, allowing participation. Usually scientific teams are kind of isolated, or they're deeply dependent on academy or government or pharmaceuticals or whoever is sponsoring, and that can kind of skew the results, or at least the direction of the research or the experiments. And sometimes some ideas are just muted or limited or even killed in a very early stage because whoever was calling the shots or paying the bills decided to shut the lights off. So, and historically, the world might have, I don't know, there might be a big cure out there that it doesn't exist because of that, or a great new kind of tech or gadget or biotech that was not tested or didn't go through because of that. So I think it's important. It also helped things moving forward. And just because it's already in blockchain, it's transparent, it's easily accountable, it's easy for everybody involved to be sure that what they're participating in, to see how it's advancing. So DeSci is something that we look at, but I can't say that at the moment we're treating these tokens separately than the other tokens. Any new listing, or, well, we talk to all token issuers or communities kind of the same way. All of them will go through due diligence that involves legal, that involves technical, and all of them will go, okay, how can we help? Can we help with go-to-market? Can we help with marketing campaigns? Can we help introducing to investing like VCs or funds or investors? We'll always look from this perspective. I don't think that in this case there's more that we can do as a platform, unless very specific, like certain of our C-level that might be connected to labs or to this different industry, they might say, but that will be more of a personal thing, not the business thing.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think there's, well, I can't, as a normal retail user, I can't see any particular reason why you would need to treat that sector differently. But yeah, I also agree that it's kind of cool that science is coming to crypto. I mean, it has come, but I first heard about DeSci, a couple years ago. Like CZ and Vitalik were talking about it,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a kind of a cool concept. And then immediately right after, this was when, like, after Trump got elected, everything was going up, but we saw a lot of DeSci tokens go up a lot. And I think for me as just a retail trader, what's kind of interesting is, okay, if you trade, I don't know, Dogecoin or Ponky or whatever, that's great. But that doesn't really, in theory, it doesn't really help the world. Maybe it does, but and if you trade, I don't know, some DeFi token, yes, you make money, and maybe it does help the world. But like for something like DeSci, if you trade it and you make money, then that's great. But also, you are actually helping something that actually creates real world value somewhere, that helps treat some patients somewhere. So I think it makes me feel less guilty about my gambling. So
Yeah. Well, investing with purpose might be, I heard some large investors that they say, when you invest with purpose, if you know that investment helped to move forward certain type of service solutions that help anybody, even if you didn't profit out of it, you might feel good. You might
Yeah.
not feel bad.
Yeah. That's why I'm still hodling some of my DeSci bags. I'm down a lot, but I feel good.
There you go.
I actually don't feel that great, but I feel less worse.
Diversify. Keep them. Build a new bag.
All right. Speaking of pain and hodling pains and such. You've been working in this space and maybe a different space prior to this. And throughout your professional life, I'm sure you've had many highs and lows. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about a time when you were going through a really rough spot? Maybe it was super financially rough or just professionally rough. We always like to kind of ask these types of personal questions so that we can get a better understanding and connection with the person that we're interviewing.
Oh, that's deep. I have some generic. I have a generic reply to you, but I'll give you a personal one. I've been around. I've been in this industry for 8 years now, a little more.
Wow.
Uh, I gotta say that 2022 was painful. It
Oh,
was painful to see a market that was promising. It was growing. All the business that I was working with, they were reaching their goals, their milestones. We saw successful metrics everywhere. Investors were excited, and eventually we saw, Terra Luna. We saw FTX happening, and a few other smaller cases. And these are the big bad news from that year. But at the end of the day, almost everyone kind of needed a time off,
mm,
and people don't like to talk about it. Tons of good business, shut down. They need to rethink. Some could survive, some pivoted, but in general, I think that the excitement and the potential of that year was drained by bad actors that I hope that we learned our lesson as a collective and we will be able to avoid. I myself was involved with a few projects that were doing well. We're looking
mm,
to many other things, interesting growth. Investor relationship was there, good solutions, market fit already proven, and we needed to adjust. But the generic reply that I think more uh, will, more people might relate is sometimes, like I just said, what's happening with your DeSci bag. Sometimes we have an unexpected market downturn, and you're at a low liquidity temporarily because of some reason, just repositioning assets, and you're obliged to get out of certain positions that are lost. That's always painful.
yeah.
Or the other thing that might sound like a lunatic, but I do think that it's common because I felt it. I've been through it. I know people that have been through it. We make plans with some of our sell price targets. We think, oh, the market's going up. It might reach this price. So I'm going to sell this amount if it reaches this price. I'm going
Yeah.
to sell this assets. And this is my plan. I'm going to go on a trip. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to do this or that. I'm going to buy a new car, whatever. And it doesn't, sometimes it goes close. It reaches a very near point, but and it retracts, or it doesn't, and it hurts. We feel the frustration of something that was never concrete. It was never there, but it also hurts.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate to like every single point of that. Um, yeah, 2022 was definitely not great. 23 was not so great either, but yeah, it does feel like, obviously we've turned some corners since then, and I can only also try to be optimistic for this year and also not set ridiculous targets in my head.
Yeah, well, expectations and and disappointment, they walk holding hands.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in real time as I'm talking to you, I'm making some deep reflections on my trades. But uh
We sleep on that. Don't
Yeah.
act on impulse. Maybe you think differently with a day or two.
All right. Well, I'm sure you've had high points though. Maybe if you could share a point that was like a really big win or a big high for you, at any point in your 8 years here.
Yeah, happy to have multiplied some cash and taken good positions throughout these years. Um, Highlights are always how good it is to get reunited with friends and colleagues and faces that we see. And when you're in the industry for a while, you go to an event, and sometimes 2 years later, 4 years later, feels like the conferences, the faces that you see there change so much, but the few ones that are the same feel like a little bit of home away from home. I think that the main personal win would be, and I'll tell you this: I went through business school.
Yeah.
I studied financial math.
Yeah.
Um, but I learned so many new lessons after looking into Bitcoin, after
Mm,
looking to having a lot of people talking about, it's not just finance, but understanding the systems that are in place, the new technology that's coming up, how different each place in the world can be. And and after all, the more I look, there's still a lot to learn.
mm,
But the more I learned about, value creation, value protection, how value changes over time, diversification of assets, why certain assets exist, if, this philosophical discussion between gambling and investing, all these things, I think nowadays I'm making better decisions
mm,
in every aspect of my life.
mm,
This analytical capabilities, they're helping with everything, not only money, not only investments, not only discuss trades, or look at a platform to see, okay, this is the throughput, let's look at the spread, let's see liquidity, so on and so forth. So I think I, I I'm always telling everybody that it's not about necessarily financial decisions,
yeah.
but understanding these concepts should benefit everybody, even whoever feels uncomfortable with it, just to grasp it a little bit, to be able to make better life decisions.
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. I personally view me like entering crypto as sure, it was about the money in the beginning. And sure, made money, lost money, but more than that, I think it's very much like what you're saying. Like for me, it had a very deep educational impact in that I questioned things a lot more. I took more risks. I was more comfortable with uncertain situations, meeting new people and things like that. And I think that's really those are like big lessons that ultimately schools and business schools also do want to teach in like from like a maybe a leadership course or something. But I think you do get that sort of as an on the job training kind of a way if you're in crypto or any of these other cutting edge kind of new industries. So I can
Yeah,
definitely,
especially because there's a lot of talented people also, and
yeah,
good and bad experiences, and
yeah,
people don't get shy about telling and sharing.
yeah,
So it's a good environment to learn.
yeah. Absolutely. I hope that crypto sticks around long enough. I don't see it going anywhere, to be honest. I think it's now like here permanently, but I just hope we have a lot of good, sustained, constructive growth in this industry. Um, yeah, well, looking ahead, we're getting close to wrapping this interview, but looking ahead, do you have any advice for us at ZTX or our friends at Creator Chain as as they look to launch their token and their blockchain and start working with you guys? Do you have any advice for teams like us?
Well, I like to I like to think that people are curious, and
Mm,
if we get the right message, or a message simple enough
mm,
in front of the right audience to at least convince them to try it out,
mm,
I think everybody that comes across Creator Chain or ZTX, they should give it a try. Sometimes we live in a world these days that is changing fast. So, and in general, humans are resistant to change, and they look at a new concept and think, "Oh, I don't understand this." But I think people are experimenting a lot. We have AI coming strong,
Mm,
affecting job markets. We have a lot of people, that almost everybody was uh, uh, spent a lot of time indoors a few years ago. That was good from the digital aspect of things. Everybody's more capable with digital solutions. But people also took that time to kind of experiment with their hobbies and how they express themselves. So I think the exercise of better expressing themselves. So I think you are already building platforms that allow for that, help people with that, and help them to understand that might be value, not only financial value, which they might win some tokens, they might launch their own token, they might create a trading book, but also that they might connect to other people, and somebody on the other side of the world might collaborate with you, or with how you express or the idea that you're trying to build. So I think that's how you will be able to multiply, because you're allowing already this value to be manifested. But I think it's just believing that hammer the message in different simple ways,
mm.
and try to put it in front of people, because I think people are experimenting more, and you get the growth that you expect.
Well, spoken like a true marketing executive. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's a
Bread
great
and
takeaway.
butter.
No, it's a great takeaway. Keep it simple. Keep a simple, strong message. Reiterate that in different ways, different channels, and then also try to empower other people. So thank you for that. It's a simple message. It's a simple advice, but at the same time, it's a very hard, very difficult advice to stick to. We'll
Yeah.
try our best to do that. Thank you for those words. Um, well, I have something to say because as part of the ZTX community and crew, we have worked with Biconomy.com for a while, and we've also worked with quite a lot of other exchanges, a lot of centralized exchanges, some DEXs, market makers, and all of that. And I can definitely say that we've had the most comfortable, easy business relationship working with you guys. And I think I can speak for the team when I say that we've always really enjoyed the support that Biconomy has given to token projects like ourselves. And I think that's a reason if other projects are watching this, it's a good reason to reach out to the Biconomy team. They'll certainly listen to you, and there's obviously no guarantees, but they'll do their best to kind of be as supportive as possible. So here's a thank you to you guys.
No, I thank you for this message. This is what we try to do every single day. Every single person in our team is living through this motto of what's the best that we can do.
Mm.